G'day guys, just down here in Southern Mile Beach with a guy by the name of Chris. He's going to give me one of my steering arms, a crack test to see if it's any good to put back on the car. So I'll just let you have a bit of a look. He's actually a bit of an MG enthusiast himself. He's got an MGA sitting in the garage and under restoration at the moment, so I'll have to take some photos of that afterwards. So just doing a test run at the moment.
Yep, what we've got is an artificial floor. Just coming up now. Yes, there we go, there it is. If I can see that.
Oh, okay, I can see the little line through there. That's a crack that's just been
We've
introduced.
got a hole, we've got a 1 mil hole.
Oh yes,
cross drilled,
yes.
which is gives me half mil below the surface.
Yep.
So if I can pick that up, I've got adequate magnetic flux.
So everything's working
for
well.
the test, yep. So there's quite a few controls over what we do. So I've got a light meter there to ensure I've got adequate lighting. Over 1,000 lux. Looks good there. So this is just a contrast paint.
Yep. So that's a white colour.
Just a white, just a quick drying white.
Now, for those people who aren't aware, the TDs actually had, in the first early TDs, they had a weak steering arm. It was only a few years after the World War II, so the actual metal quality wasn't as good as it could have been. They did improve them after a period of time, but the early ones still had unfortunately, still running around with the weakened steering arms. So I've spoken to 3 different people now that have all had failures with them. One of mine actually had been welded together, so I've replaced that one, and hopefully Chris can give me some good news on this one.
So what we're basically doing is looking for an upset in the magnetic flux.
Oh, yep.
Your lines of flux travelling from north to south.
Yes.
If there's an interruption to them, the flux will bunch up and then have to basically leap over the discontinuity to get to south.
And show it in the die.
And that causes sets up another set of poles, another little north-south pole along that, which then attracts the magnetic particles.
So that's actually like a magnetic paint then. Okay.
Yeah, it's iron particles with an ink in it as well. So. I think I'm going to have to give you some bad news, I'm afraid.
Oh, I can see that line already.
It's coming up already. Okay, let's get this thing flowing. Got 2 nasty cracks in there actually.
Yes, you can see them opening up quite wide. Yes. That
3
is-
around the back there, so we've got through there, that. I have to look for the magnifying glass. That may just be because of the step, because that's one of the difficulties in interpretation is a sharp change of section will also cause a similar aggregation of the magnetic flux, but that's quite distinct, so I'd say it's highly likely to be further crack.
Mm.
We'll just have a look
Yeah.
afterwards, but
Those.
that's classic, and there's no surface steps or anything that's going to accumulate around that, and that is right on the end of your taper.
Yeah, and that basically where it goes into the kingpin housing. Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a weak point.
Yes. And so even the residual magnetism in it, it still attracts it. So if that was just say a scratch on the surface, which can give you a bit of false indication, that wouldn't be coming back so quickly without the magnet. So
Yeah, definitely.
So there, and up into there. That's not so much there, so that could be just a aggregation. There's a little step there, but yeah.
But yeah,
regardless of that, they are.
It's still not a component that you want to put back into a car driving down the highway.
No. So I'll just have a quick at that. See if I can pick that. There it is. Might be able to pick it up on this.
It's got some good magnification.
It's not rattly, so it's quite tight. So it's not a gaping crack. So, but it's certainly there. Yeah, something's a bit better. There we go.
Yeah, that's showing
So
up
if you
very
pick there,
prominent.
so it's right in where there is some corrosion, so that sort of can act as a bit of a stress razor as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. The corrosion may have actually, because for people who don't know, I actually did a dye penetration test yesterday, and they were saying it could just be due to the corrosion and it may not be a crack. So I thought I'd better go from one step further and do a magnetic one, and yeah, it's definitely come up as a crack this time.
There we go, you can see that there. So it is in there. So what you can get with a bit of corrosion, you can it's possible, although there's not a great deal showing a lot of surface corrosion there. You can start to get some intergranular corrosion, which can work its way. No, that's definitely a crack there. Now you can see that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. And that's probably a little bit of a design, manufacturing problem there. Turn off. If there was no crack there, then you'd certainly want to be just profiling that a little better, because a sharp change of section there is always going to be
it's always going to promote a crack.
Yeah. So really, if you're going to the work of putting that back in, I'd be finishing off the forging line and polishing it all up nicely.
Yeah.
So polished surface is a good surface as far as crack mitigation.
But this one is
I'm
destined for the
afraid,
bin.
it's destined for the bin, yes. They do get a hard life.
Well, yeah, this one's potentially only been on the car for about 16 years of road life. So
Okay.
yeah, as I said earlier, you know, the steel at the end of the wall was pretty average, and that's what they've used in the casting of this steering arm.
And
Okay, this is Chris's MGA. It's a Mark 1 1600. It happens to be the youngest 1600 in existence in Australia. He's owned it for about 20 years, used it for a daily driver, and now he's doing the rebuild on it. Quite a nice little car. She'll come up quite well after it's all finished. Some new seals there ready to go in. And it's got all the panels hanging up on the wall though.
that's
Over there.
the original colour.
Okay guys, certainly wasn't the news I was hoping for. It's 3 large cracks in the steering arm, not visible to the naked eye, but once you actually do the testing on it, and it's very evident that there is an issue there. Certainly won't be going back on the car, so I'm on the lookout now for a right-hand steering arm. So if anyone knows of anyone, touch base with me, leave a comment or whatever. Be greatly appreciated. Preferably have one that is has already been crack tested. That way I won't be wasting my money buying one, crack testing it, and finding it's also in the same situation as my current one. So if you know of one, let me know. That'd be great. Okay, I'll sign off for now, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.